It's been a long time. Just so you know, this is being streamed on YouTube, so you're aware. And for everybody that's booked VIPs, I hope you've heard from the team so far as well. So, and you'll get yourselves booked in very soon. Woohoo! It's been a long time. There we go. Let's just silence this. There we go. Right. There we are. And more people will no doubt be joining us as we get going. So I really wanted to do this webinar to show everybody here what I did with Maria, which is what a lot of you responded to, was her message that she sent me, well, her testimonial. And I started to then unpick exactly what it is we did. Now I'm completely aware of this because I do this every single day with clients, but I thought I would literally share what it is we do to help people generate money through speaking and help people to truly monetize their expertise, which is what I really wanted to show here. So let me get the slides going. So you're writing where you are and where you're from. So have a quick look at that. Of course, if I can see your smiley face, that's even nice. But if you have to hop off, that's all right. So we got Coventry, we've got Stoke, we've got Surrey, we've got all these people. It's okay if you need to be off camera. I'm good with that. And I will take questions. But if I don't answer straight away, just know because I'm in my flow. And of course, for those of you just meeting me the first time, I will introduce myself and who I am and et cetera, et cetera. So it won't just be this whole. I might have to stop and cough for a while. Just that sometimes happens. So look, I just want to remind everybody right now as a speaker, we really need to step up our game. We really need to put ourselves out there because there's truly people that are hungry and want and need what you are offering. I say that every time. Yes, it's uncertain times. Yes, these are strange times. Yes, then, yes, all of the above. But really what people are looking for, that guide and that hope. And I want everybody on this webinar to be someone that is doing exactly that as well. So I want to remind everybody that it might be a bit harder than normal, but actually it can be more rewarding as well as a result. This is a time to connect and serve communities globally, all right? And really, how can we serve them better? It's really important. If I can just ask everybody to make sure they're on mute when they join as well, that'd be fantastic. And right, there we go. Okay, cool. So here's what I've noticed. I've been doing this for over a decade now. I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, business owners who want to use speaking to be more influential in their space. A couple of people I've worked with on this call. So it's always nice to see you. Nice to see people showing up, even though we're working together. Still, it's lovely to see your faces. And if we're not working together, it's still lovely to see your faces as well, by the way. Right. So I just want to, here's the thing, a quick note on this slide. Most speakers is what I call 50% speaker, right? 50% speakers. What do? They invest heavily in the speaking side of things, but don't invest as much in the marketing side of things. So therefore, they're not really having the impact they want when they put themselves out there, because they're great speakers, no doubt, but the packaging is off, the messaging is off, they're very vanilla. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, right? But I just want to be aware that if you want to have an impact, you have to think of yourself as 100% speaker, i.e. great speaker, great at marketing yourself, great at putting yourself out there, right? So I just want to see what your greatest challenges are. So you want to just type them in the box quickly while I cough. So what is your biggest challenge right now when it comes to speaking? Now, I know you're all here because you want Maria's results, and I'm going to show you how to get that. I'm also pouring myself a coffee. Yeah. So what are your biggest challenges? Pricing and target audience. Thanks, Lauren. Hi, Lauren. Lovely to see you. God, what a Scotland. We got Lincoln, got Woking, not Woking. Sorry. Getting sales after. Oh, fantastic. Well, you're in the right place. And plus, I know we've got a VIP coming as well. Lovely to see you, Lauren, as always. Cool. A couple more. Yay. And then we will move forwards with it. So we're seeing pricing, how to target, and of course, getting sales after my speaking. Okay, good. Let's see if my clicker works. So These are kind of typically who we work with to be influential, to get out there, to use speaking as a marketing positioning tool, also to get paid. There are a variety of industries, a variety of levels we work with, from turnover, high turnover, to people starting out, founders, sales rep. It is real a variety. Now, they all have the same common problems, very similar to you, needing to adapt their talks, needing to adapt and be current, getting booked, getting paid, low sales or no sales, fluffy pitch. No one gets what they do. They attract the wrong clientele. And again, this goes from people in recruitment, in the creative industries, coaches, trainers, consultant, authors, entrepreneurs. It really does go across the board when it comes down to the problems that we cover. And of course, the other one is no quality leads, or not enough quality leads. So just a little bit about myself. If you've never seen or heard from me or never spoken to me, and this is the first time we're meeting, hello, lovely to see you all. So I'm a co-founder of Speaker Express. I've been doing this for over a decade now. I've written for magazines. I've got well over 10,000 hours of delivering talks globally. I've now written 6 books, but only 5 of them are published. The 6th one was meant to come out in November. I'm going to delay it a little bit. And I also mentor the Princess Just, have done for a decade. I run a podcast, which is recorded every Monday and comes out every Saturday, called the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. But I do have an old podcast called Voice for Good as well. And I'm an accredited virtual speaker, which means I spent $80 to be told I can speak online. Money well spent. Also, I this year and last year finally started to get lots of awards and recognition, which is good news. The one that means the most to me, obviously being listed as one of the top coaches to follow on Yahoo, is fantastic. But actually, the one that means the most to me is the one right at the bottom there, the Business Book Awards, being shortlisted this year for my book, Stand Out as a Speaker and Be More Giraffe, which looks a bit like this. It's a sketchbook, is the one that really stands out for me. The rest of them are fantastic, but there's one that you really wanted and you got, and like, yay, that's the one I really wanted and I got. So I'm very happy with that. I'm interested in knowing about the giraffe reference. I will tell you about that in a second, actually. So let me tell you about how that works. So we work across industries because it's about the delivery. It's about the methodology. So top left there, you've got Julian. Next there, you've got an influencer. You've got Philly, who was a MasterChef professional. Then bottom left, you've got Deepak, who was Dragon's Den. But in between that, you've got a variety of entrepreneurs and business owners who use speaking for influence, who use speaking to enroll people to buy, but also to get paid when they speak. Now, the giraffe reference goes back a couple of years very quickly. And it was when we were sitting down and we're doing some research with our community and going, what's going on? What's going on for you? How are you finding the situation? So lots of people were talking about needing to stand out, that they wanted to be heard for their own voice, that they wanted to stick their neck out. And I have this giraffe that normally sits next to me. Where is it? It's somewhere in my office. Oh, it's behind here we are. Oy. So I was sitting with my content girl at the time and we were going through all the data and everything. And I went, you know what? I think they need to be more giraffe. This is the original giraffe. There you go. Hello. Not particularly spectacular, not very impressive. And then she said, that is the way forwards. We need to be working with people to be more giraffe. And we started to do our whole marketing messaging became about me being more giraffe. And now it's become one of our things that we work with business owners and entrepreneurs to be more giraffe, to stick your neck out, be bold, be seen for all the right reasons. So that's where the giraffe comes from. Now, again, it's not about shouting louder, right? It's not about jumping on stage. It's about through your content and through your delivery and through the impact that you stand out. That's what being more giraffe is all about at its essence. Right. So this was the testimonial from Maria that came through this week, which has inspired me to do this webinar, right? And this is what she said, right? We worked on her signature talk and she literally hadn't even finished the process and she delivered it in front of. Now, here's what's interesting about Maria's case. Maria speaks in front of head teachers. Now, this is one of the most challenging time for schools. Funding's being cut, everything's being cut, energy bills are going up. So for her to do a talk in front of head teachers and get 20 signups in front of one of the probably most skeptical people, right, is an incredible achievement for her, right? It's an incredible achievement, full stop. And she talks about stress management. And as you see, she talked about having done the talk several times before, but literally got no results whatsoever, which is why when we started to talk, I said, look, do this with me. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, you'll have a great talk. So this is what inspired this. And what I've done is I've broken down exactly what we've covered. And so it'll help you as well. And I really want you to approach today with an open mind and to see where you could be better. Now, I've done this process recently with Dave as well, where we really fine-tuned his talk, and hopefully he'll relate to what we did, and he'll be able to see this as well. So there we go. Let's go ahead. The other person I did a signature talk with was a guy called Ed. And he already came to me very confident. So what I want to be clear is this process isn't necessarily around confidence at all. It's around fine-tuning what you have. So Ed already ran 4 businesses. He's used to standing on stage, and he was used to, being out there, but he wasn't getting the results he wants. He wasn't getting the investment he wanted. He wasn't getting the intake he was looking for, right? So again, we did what we did, which I'm going to show you what we did with him. We fine-tuned it. So after that, when he did go out, he was able to adapt it, because the adaptability is key, but the structure that we showed him is what allowed him to do that. And then he was able to not only fundraise and, supersede what he wanted to for his new business, but he's able to enroll more people onto the platform, which is in the recruitment space. That's what Strive is, and really explode in many ways his business. That was his new business, because he already had 4, because he didn't have enough going forwards. So the first thing I really want you to all assess, which is the first thing I did with Maria, is how relevant was her content. 2, key, because I know most people go, well, of course my content's relevant. Of course it's relevant. This is my expertise. How relevant is it to the audience you want to buy from you? This is key. How relevant was the content we looked at for head teachers in Maria's case? In Ed's case, we looked at how relevant is it for investors? How relevant is it for potential customers? The relevancy is key, because what happens is a lot of times we will construct talks from our expertise, from our model of the world, and not for the receiver. And of course, we're the ones delivering it. But if the person receiving it, or we're not speaking to the majority of people receiving it, then you're alienating a big part of the audience. So really think about the relevancy. So with Maria, when she came, she goes, oh, I do this bit, and then I do this bit, and I do this bit, and I do this bit, and then I do this bit. Oh, and I talk about this as well. I'm sure some of you can relate to this, right? Give me a thumbs up if you can relate to this. And I inject this, and I inject it. It was too much. It was just overwhelming amount of good information, but it's too much information. Please remember that an overloaded mind says no, or it switches off, because we feel like we can't keep up. So a part of us go, oh, you must be stupid. You can't keep up, right? So we stripped it back. We look at the relevancy to the audience that was likely to buy. Key. And that's the first thing we looked at. So we adapted the relevancy. We stripped out a lot, which I'll come back to in a bit, but we looked at the relevancy. So while some of it was good content, it wasn't relevant content. And there's a big difference between that. And that's something, when I work with people, really help streamline, pull out what isn't needed, because otherwise you're just wasting time, right? The second thing is we looked really deep into, again, the audience, the buyer, right? Who were they as people? What was at the forefront of their issues, their challenge, their problem, right? We looked at what kept them up at night. Really deep dove into this. We didn't guess, we asked, what keeps you up at night? Several things came up for people, of course, but this was key. What keeps your potential buyer, the person that's going to listen to you speak and buy from you, up at night? Now, there's a variety of people here from a variety of industries, right? But what key is unless you can truly articulate the problem back to them in a way that speaks to them, again, then that's going to become a barrier to the buying process, right? This is key. If you can answer the question, what keeps your buyer? Remember, this is about people buying, up at night. But even if you're getting paid to speak, if you can articulate the problem in an inclusive way, in a way that most people in the audience can relate to, that's one more step towards them buying from you. Yeah. So keep that in mind as well. By the way, if you do have any questions, do put them in the chat because I will come back to them as well. Right. So can you articulate in an inclusive way? Right. So I want you to really think about that as well. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Sorry you have to go. It happens, doesn't it? Are you with me, people? Give me a Y in the chat. Just want to check that you're all still there and to say, hi, yeah, good, all good, thumbs up. I've got a Y from Dagmar. Yeah, I got a Y from Taruna. Just 2 Ys. I've got a thumbs up from V, Veronica, Lynn. Good. Okay, you're still with me. Awesome. Hopefully you're taking lots of notes. Yes. Oh, yes, this makes so much sense. Good. Awesome. Okay, so, and here's the thing. I want you to understand that what I'm sharing you with today is to be met with not going, of course I can articulate the problems. The proof is, are people buying from you? Are people buying what you're offering? Because if not, then something's broken in that process of articulating the problem, right? Again, someone we changed this with is a guy called Juan who came to us, used to be in the military, really strong, quite an alpha male when we started to work with him. And he wanted to work with youth. And he used to talk about how the army helped save him basically from a life of crime. We had to soften him and he had to be able to articulate the problem in a way that youth can relate to, in a way that people that would hire him to speak can relate to that journey. So of course there was a language and there was a delivery issue as well, because he spoke like someone who was in the army. So we had to soften him and chisel out a lot of those curves that he had. And as a result of that, he was then booked to speak at more corporates, because then they booked him to speak to the younger employees as well, not about the army side of things, but just about his 7 steps that helped him move forwards, that he pioneered. But also, he then got hired to become the Steel Warriors community project manager because of his story and because he was sharing it. But he was able to articulate the other solution to a problem. Now, the Steel Warriors community is where they melt down knives to build gym equipment. And now he fronts that. So he's very happy about that as well. So all these bits matter, right? So each stage when someone hears you speak is towards a buying decision, not necessarily a pushy sales. You've got to sign up now or you'll never succeed, right? Here's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Now, I alluded to this already, is we just got rid of what isn't working, right? And we looked at each part of the talk, which I'll come back to again, and we just stripped it back. And we're like, that's not going to work. That really hasn't landed very well. And a lot of this is being honest with yourself and having someone that sits there that's on your side and help you go, well, that's not going to work. And here's why. Or able to question you and go, did that work? How did that go down? So often I'll talk about how people open a talk. I'm like, well, how does that work? Does it go down well? And often if you can't say, yeah, it really works or it really doesn't, then it's not working. So again, we got quite brutal about stripping things to only what works. And that each step of the 7 steps we teach when it comes to signature talk is always leading them towards a buying decision. But we also strip back what isn't working, not necessarily, even if it felt really good. Oh, I love doing this bit. Okay, great. Well, how can we tweak it so it works? Or how can we get rid of it and replace it with something that does? Yeah, because remember, we're not on stage for us. Yes, we're the speakers, but we're facilitators of the audience. And therefore, we need to just drop in there things that work, that bring the audience closer to buying, that add value, that inspire, educate, elevate, and emotively pick the audience up, right? So typically, that's why I'm saying we reviewed each step of the way. We've got 7 steps that we cover, and we make sure it was slick, very slick. Now, again, we only did 1 session with them, right, with Maria at this point. I sometimes do 2 or 3 sessions, but in this case, she'd done 1, she delivered it. I didn't even know she was doing it. And that's when she gave me that feedback. We've done the 2nd session since, right? Again, similarly, stripping away what doesn't working, looking at each level was when we worked with John, creative agency. Again, very creative, no actual structure, no actual process, right? Streamed it line, drop what didn't work. We worked on the language that lands. We created that work between them and the audience, so it's accessible and understandable. And as a result of that, they had 10 bookings for consultations. Now, to them, a contract's typically between 10 grand to 100 grand, right? So they probably made, without a doubt, in fact, he told me they made about 100 grand from that. So I'm not saying that's everybody's journey, okay? Of course, I'm using success stories here. However, if you just tweak things just a little bit, or you build them right, then you'll get the results. So like you saw from Maria's testimonial, Maria, right, had spoken all year and got no results, and it was just fine tweaks. Yeah. Okay. So, and let's start looking as well. So here's what I want you to all take away, right? Stop doing what doesn't work, right? Use data to help emphasize points. Start articulating the problem in an inclusive way. Stop delivering talks that aren't effective, right? If you need to go, listen, I need to rework this, I need to rework this. Also, make sure your content matches the audience. Make sure it's targeted to the audience, right? Don't overload people with information. That's a big one. A lot of people just loads of information. And of course, the lack of focus. Now, here's what I want to get very clear. A lot of people give too much of the how away when they speak. If you're giving too much of the how away, why would they buy from you? Yeah. So what's really important here is that you are emphasizing what people need to know while adding value, and therefore people buy from you. But too many people, too many speakers give away so much of the how, right? So let's say I say to Veronica here, I'm just grabbing your name, go, Veronica, hey, listen, why don't you and me go for a meal sometime? She's like, sure, I'm going to take you to the best meal ever. It's the nicest meal. It's the nicest food with the nicest ingredients, right? And then Veronica goes, sure. Now, on the way to that restaurant, I say, Veronica, let's just quickly stop here and have a buffet, right? So we have a buffet and we eat and we eat and we eat. Then we finish the buffet. And Veronica, should we go and have that meal now? She's like, no, I'm full, right? So, of course, we're not going to have that really nice meal. We're going to go home and open our buttons and go, oh, I'm so full. That's the same with how a lot of people speak. You fill the audience too much, therefore they're not hungry for the next level. So when I talk about relevancy, when I talk about you're not focused enough on what people know and you're giving away too much of the how, then people will not buy from you because they're like, cool, thanks, I'm good now. Yeah, so really think of it as well when it comes to that. And too general, too vanilla, you're saying the same things in the same ways as everyone else, okay? So I just want to quickly talk about how you could move forwards with us, if that's okay, and you're getting value from this. It won't take long, and then we'll carry on with the next steps as well. So for those of you who do want to really do what I did with Maria and deep dive, now I know some of you have VIP sessions booked in with me already, so feel free to have a think and a read about this before the sessions. Is basically what we're doing is for people who are confident, for people that want to get people to buy from them after the talks as well. This is specifically, you can use this to get booked and get paid as well. We do have a very special program which we launched, and it's the Efficiency Speaking and Selling Program. It's about using a structure that converts. It's about getting people to buy from you. And also there's a very little payment up front, and the rest is staggered throughout pretty much 9 months. So I'll tell you all about that in a minute, right? Or you pay me on results. But the way it works is you have a signature talk training with me, which is what I did with Maria and Ed and John and all these people, and we really streamline your talk. You then have another session with me about how to get booked and where to get booked. And then you go get booked, you deliver your talk, you make the money you make, and then either you pay me the rest of the money or not. We'll talk about that in a sec, right? So if you've got something to say and a product to sell, if you want more sales when you speak, if you are an expert in your space and you want to have massive impact in your industry, then this is the program for you. Again, there's Sarah. Sarah's an investor. She came to me, not an issue of confidence, streamlined everything, really got it focused, got it targeted. We dropped what didn't work, showed her the structure. And then as a result of that, she got not only investors, but grew a business. She's been booked for Tedx's, and she also gets paid to speak, right? So when you work on the efficient speaking program, right, you have a talk that's ready to go, you learn structure with an impact, and we show you how to get booked as well. And as I said, you pay a little upfront and then the rest on results, or it's spread throughout a long period of time. You also get access to our videos, which I'll send to you, which help momentum as well. And you get access to a D drive that has all templates, has scripts, has lots of information in it that will allow you to reach out and get booked and get paid as well, right? So typically it's 2,597 all in, like if you add it all up. But actually all you pay is £360. I call that skin in the game money to get started on the program. Then you have 3 months before the next payment comes out. Now, within the 3 months, the intention is you get booked, you sell, and then you get the money, and then you pay the rest, and everybody's happy. Should that not happen, you got 3 months before the next payment, and then 3 months, right? So I'm really staggering this out to help you, and I'm putting my time up front to help you be able to move forwards, to get the results, to get paid. I am putting my skin on the line too, my skin in the game too. But you also have continuous support via WhatsApp. I do drop-in sessions every 2 weeks where you come ask me anything. And of course, there's individual support via WhatsApp as well. So it is just paying a little bit skin in the game, and then it's up to you to go make the money, but I'll guide you every step of the way to do that, right? So we've just had one intake, and I want to take another intake. So we're opening up to 5 more people. So it's £360. The link should be in the Google Doc, but you can also, the link to the Google Doc to read more about it should be in the chat room any second now, but you can also just scan the QR code as well. And then we will definitely get going with this for you. So you can book a call in, by the way. It doesn't have to be about you going the QR code and signing up. You can sign up that, but you can just book a call. So Regina will be posting it, won't you, Regina? The link for you to click on, but also you can just scan the QR code if you have your phone and have a read about it there. It takes you to a Google Doc where you can read all about it. There is in the chat. And then you can have a read, book a call in to talk to me about it. In fact, I'd rather you book a call in to talk about it unless we've already talked and you're ready to go, right? So next couple of keys, we've got 5, 6, and 7. So I'm not sure this will even last an hour, but of course I want to also have questions from you as well to move forward. So here we go. We've got a chat there. Elliot, is this suitable for someone like me? Yes, it is, because we'll help you structure it, V. Yes, it's 100% suitable for you. Absolutely. Book a call in. Let's talk. But it's designed for that as well. It's what I'm saying is all you need is confidence, right? So if you have the confidence, the rest we can do. Yeah, definitely for you. Cool. Here's the other thing we did, right? A lot of people, they choose stories, rightly so, but they don't choose the stories that are most relevant to the potential customer's journey. Now, of course, there's room for our personal journey and our personal story, as long as it demonstrates that you get the problem and you can highlight that, articulate it, also why you're the person to solve it and how you solved it. Now, often we might need to choose a different story, right, to help the potential buyer, customer, put themselves in that shoes. So with Maria, with Ed, and some of the others I spoke about, they did have a little bit of their personal journey. So Maria told a little bit of a personal journey in one of the sections we did, and she talked about her brother that had a heart attack, who was a teacher. So this is why it was her mission. But then the story she chose as the main story was a story of a skeptical head teacher that didn't want to be there, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then she took him through the whole journey he went through and where he is today, right? Of course, you'll need case studies. You'll need success stories as well when it comes down to this type of a talk. However, you've got to choose the one that's most appropriate for them, not the one that's most appropriate for you to tell. And this is where people get it slightly wrong, okay? So again, that's what we did with Maria. We changed the story. We tweaked it. We also chose the relevant case studies, again, that magnify their journey as well. And we completely rework the content flow. And I'll give you an example. Most speakers walk and go, hi, my name is Elliot Kay, and I'm a speaker, and this is what I'm going to speak about, and I've been speaking for 25 years. All right, this is what I've been doing, and I'm going to speak about myself for the first 10 minutes of a talk. People are really information overload, time poor. So unless people really quickly get why they're going to listen to you, what's in it for them, and why they should trust you, they'll switch off quite quickly. Now, if you're already up against an audience that's skeptical and is being drilled down by a system, then you've got even less patience, which is what Maria was up against, right? So we changed the content. We changed how she opened, right? We did an opening that cognitively got people to sit up and think. We then deep dove into the problems, very quickly demonstrated that she got their problem. She had their back, but she also got their problem. And she knew there's no simple solution, but there is a solution, right? That shifted the whole dynamic of the talk. And this is when I work with people in their signature talks and things like that. It changes the whole dynamic, because you go from speaking about yourself for 10 minutes to demonstrating to the audience that it's about them. Very different dynamic, very different delivery, right? And then the next thing we did with Maria and all the others, with John, is we showed them about proactive outreach, right? So what a lot of people do, and this is part of the reason why they don't get booked enough and stuff, is they don't actually tell people they have a really great talk. So with Maria, we emphasize like, okay, now we need to go and tell people that you've got a new talk and it's about this. And that's what she did and got booked. Same with Ed, same with John, same with Juan. A lot of people sit back and they're like, oh yeah, look, I'm a speaker and it's on my LinkedIn and this, which is, it's okay, right? Nothing wrong with that. But if we're always waiting for someone to knock on our door, then our door will remain knockless most of the time, unless we proactively outreach. And again, that's something in the program I show you how to do with the Get Booked session, is how to conduct the outreach, where to go for the outreach as well. Because it is about relationships. And the better relationships you have with potential people that book you, actually, the more you're likely to get booked. I hope that makes sense as well. But a lot of people sit there with this entitlement and go, I'm a speaker, book me, pay me. Well, okay. If there's no relationship, how's there a trust factor? How am I going to put you in front of my audience of 100 people or 1,000 people if I don't know what you're like? Now, don't mistake that for having demands, right? And having high standards. You can have high standards, you can have demands, but if you are genuinely good person that's there to serve an audience, even if it's to sell, even if it's to get paid, then you'll build really solid relationships. And a lot of people actually quite entitled when they are a speaker, and it just doesn't work anymore because there's so much competition, there's so much variety, and there's always someone that can take your place, especially in the speaking world. Yeah. So we can help you build the relationship. We can help you with the outreach as well. The other thing we do have, by the way, for those of you who not quite right now, maybe want to do the efficient speaking, is we do have an alert service which comes to you daily. And I know a few of you ended up in this webinar because of it, where basically every day we send you speaking opportunities and into your inbox every single day, except for the weekends. And it's a variety of speaking opportunities. So if you want to start building those relationships, again, you can just join our alerts. It's $9.99 a month or $97 for the year. And if anyone does join the Speaking Efficient program, then you might find yourself with a bonus of the alerts as well. But we'll have that conversation when we talk. Okay. So just want you to be aware of that. So if you wanted to do that again, we'll post a link shortly in the chat box, but please build relationships. So important. And one of the things we also did with Maria, which is where a lot of people get slightly wrong, okay, and in a minute I'm gonna open to questions, is you make the process of buying from you really hard, right? It's really confusing and it's not simple. So something we did with Maria is we made it really simple and easy to buy. Right? Strong call to action, delivered with certainty, but also done in a very, very simple way. Very simple, right? If you like what you heard, because keep in mind this, right? You are always selling. That's my next slide, right? You're always selling. And if they're not ready to do something by the end of the talk, then something's broken down. So it isn't about it being a separate section. Yes, it's the way that people buy, but really a lot of the sellings happen throughout, which again, you saw Maria's testimonial where she said, even though the whole thing was a sales pitch, it never felt like it. And it's not manipulative. It's not like it comes out of nowhere, right? We just simplified it, made it easy. Look, if you like what you saw today and you want some of it, here's how we could work together. Here's how you book. Here's how you do it. Very simple. Some people go, oh, well, you know, if you want to work with me, you get this, this, and this, and then you can get this, and then there's these bonuses, and and let me tell you about this, and you could get this, this, and this, and normally it's £10,000, but you can. It just becomes too much for a brain to process, right? Make it simpler. Something that's simple is a lot easier to process and to say yes to, versus me feeling a bit silly because I don't quite get it, right? Simplify the call to action. All right. This is really key. And so someone that we did this whole process with, but what she did is she did a talk like a masterclass. So she invited people to a masterclass, which is really a talk. It was 90 minutes long. And at the end, she invited people to apply. So she had a very simple call to action, which was, if you like what you heard today and you would like to do more, simply apply. She didn't even give price at that point. Apply for your place. And she did. And as you can see, these are the updates she sent me at the time. And she went through it, right? It's a while, it's January. And she made herself almost 20 grand, but through very simple application of the process and making it, here's the word, making it easy to buy. That's the key. Make it easy. Make the call to action simple. Something we did with Maria is we're just making it very easy. Easy to say no as well, right? That's another key as well. So, and the last thing I want you to remember, which is part of simplifying the call to action, is from the moment you step on stage, the sale is on. Now, even if you're getting paid to speak, right? You're selling your thoughts, you're selling your leadership, you're selling your concept. And of course, you're selling your brand, you're selling your products and your services. So you have to understand the whole thing is a sale. Now, even if you're getting 10, 20, 50 grand, you're still selling people time, the time to want to spend with you. So I think if you can shift the paradigm that it's a separate section, or selling is something separate to speaking, you will make this process a lot easier. Now, of course, to sell with respect, with grace, authentically like yourself, that is where the structure lies. That is where you learn to do that. Like some you saw Maria at the beginning with her testimonial, read her testimonial. She got it. She's like, yeah, oh my God, the whole thing's a sale. Yes, the whole thing's a sale, but you don't have to be pushy or sleazy or douchebag about it. You can authentically sell in a way that's congruent to you and still get the results that you want to get. Okay. But please understand, you're always selling. You just always are. That's just a reality. And if you're not selling, someone else is. The last thing you want is to finish a talk and someone to Google what you've just talked about and find someone else to work with. Right. So you're always selling. So how are we doing, people? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a Y in the chat. Also, of course, if you have any questions, now's a great time for you to ask any questions. I got a thumbs up from V. I've got a smile from Veronica, who seems to be the one. Give me smiles on camera. I got a Y, a Y and a smile. Ooh, double take. Lauren, I got a smiley face. Cool. Do you have any questions as I start to wrap up this webinar? Good to know I'm doing most things right. Good. Good. Well, we can iron some of that and make it even better. Woohoo. Yes. Who else has, what questions do you have about anything I've covered so far while I have a sip of my Be More Giraffe coffee? Curious about time to review talk. Tell me more about your question, Lauren. You can unmute yourself if you want. We've got time. Or you can just type. It's up to you. Hey, there you are.
So I think I'm notoriously bad for doing anything on my own. So I work best with accountability and with the one-to-one. So curious whether there's an option to do something either over and above this on a one-to-one basis, or how much time is actually involved in the, here's the talk, let's take it apart and rebuild it and get the structure more effective for different audiences.
Yeah, I mean, so for that, I mean, we could do that with the one-to-one, you know, the signature talk session. That's exactly what we would do. So there are some preparation videos as well, which you will watch. So we could do that in one, but I do offer like cleanup sessions, so that I do have one program where we do the signature talk, we then do a cleanup, you then present it again to me, we do another cleanup, and then that way you've cleaned it all up, so to speak. So I'll send you a message about that, just how that would work. And it tends to be the first session's 90 minutes and the next 2 an hour each. And I'll send you some information about that. Can you just so I make sure I've got the right Lauren in case there's another Lauren.
Yeah,
Could you just send
I
me
will.
the email? I'll send you some info about that. And there is something beyond that as well, but maybe
Yeah.
let's just have a chat. I
Okay.
think probably might be
Thank
the
you.
next best move.
Perfect.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you, Lauren. So I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you. It's great with everything I plan to do in my next masterclass. Well, hey, nice one, Veronica. Fabulous. Good to hear. Anyone else have some questions before we wrap this up? There we are, Linda. Hey, Lynn, nice to see you. I didn't see you. So sorry. I wasn't ignoring you, I promise. I just noticed you said hello there. So it's lovely to see you all. Jimmy, lovely to see you. Bobby, nice to see you, my friend. I did send you an email. Respond to it. Okay, let's quickly wrap this up then. So everything I did, everything we talked about, again, someone I work with, you might know Janetta. So Janetta has quite a trigger story to do with losing her daughter. So with her is, again, it's all about stripping things down. It's all about getting it clear to make sure also it didn't trigger a lot of people because it's quite a horrible, it's now the positivity side of it, but at the time, and it can trigger a lot for people. So again, through the framework, through chiseling it down, making sure she's doing the appropriate bits of her story to truly help the audience be elevated. You know, she's then able to go out, get booked, get paid. She's launched something called Jenny's Day, which is in the memory of her daughter. She's attracted Olympians and celebrities to get involved. And that all came from the correct communication of the story, but also in a way that educates, impacts, elevates the people listening as well. Right. So this is key here. That's what I mean. Like with the same with Maria, putting in the audience in the right way is what got to. Same with Janetta, same with everyone I'm talking about. You know, that's key here. So that's why the reconstruction of the talk or putting in the right way in the right order is what really helps people do that. So just a very quick recap. But what I want to know is, what is your biggest learnings? Right? What are your biggest learning from today's session? Some of you said, hey, nice to know I'm doing most of the right things. So what are the things you know you could do better? I'd love to hear. Yeah, type them away. What are some of the biggest learnings you've had from listening? Jimmy, nice to see you. A nice thumbs up there. Thinking more constructive about my audience. Yes. Oh, so important. It's all about the audience. Yes, we're speakers, but it's really about them. Unless you're like, you know, a Gary V or a massive celebrity where you can speak about yourself for 90 minutes and get paid like £100,000, right? I need to add in case studies, client story. Yes, structure to all of my talk for the audience. Yes, it's all, listen, structure's king, right? Structure is what's going to give you the freedom to do all that. And please don't mistake structure for script. Very different, very different. I'm not about scripting, but I am all about structure. Good. Anyone else want to share their key learning? I appreciate the 7 key structure. Yay. Woohoo. I love it. Nice one, V. So hopefully V and I will be speaking. Laura and I will be speaking. Good. If anyone does want to talk and find out more, please do. I know there were 3 of you. No, there's 2 of you on the calls that have booked a VIP session. So we'll have a chat then as well. And the other person, ironically, that booked the VIP session couldn't make it because he's got COVID. There we go. It happens. I'll also email this out to you guys if you wanted to go through anything again. So just a quick recap. If you do want to join the Efficient Speaking and Selling program, please feel free to scan the QR code. This is all about fine-tuning your talk, knowing where to get booked, and you monetizing your speaking. That's basically what it's all about, with WhatsApp support, with drop-in sessions, continuous. As I say, we spread out the payments throughout almost 9 months, because I'm going to put my skin in the game, make sure you can get booked as well. So if you want to do that, please feel free to scan it. You know, Signature Talk in itself, as you heard, is a completely different program. You get that included. We also get booked sessions where you go and get booked, and I show you through that. And of course, we get you booked. So 360, forget about cough. It's not till today. That's an old slide. Feel free to scan it. We'll send you a message. Okay. Apparently you can't scan the code. Is that true? So V, I'll send you a message, but we can just send you the Google Drive, which takes you to the exactly same place. Here we are. Just if you have a look at the Google Drive. Oh, not that. Anyway, we'll get you the Google Drive, V. Don't worry, I'll send you an email. So let's do it. Let's talk. Book in a call. I'd love to speak to you. If you can't scan for some reason, then in the chat, there's also the Google Drive. So if Regina can resend the Google Drive link, that'll be amazing for you to all do it. There we are. I think I'll do that now. Otherwise, I hope I'm going to speak to you all very soon. And I wish you all success, and go out there and monetize your speaking, right? Till the next time, be seen, be heard, and always, always be more giraffe. Till the next time, and we'll speak soon. Bye. There's the link again for those who want to grab it. But I'll drop you also both an email, okay? Have a lovely one. Finished a bit early. Woohoo. If there's any questions, I'll hang back. See if there's any questions.